Well, here we are down here at the Poquoson Museum, and they're having the Campfires and Home Fires celebration down here this weekend, where we're going to see some artillery demonstrations. We're supposed to see a reunion of the descendants of the Yorktown and Poquoson Civil War soldiers and sailors, and we're supposed to see how women dealt with the war at home, and we might even get to hear some of the story of Dolly Mammy Messick. So let's go check it out. Alright, so you said these are breech loaders?
Yeah. They open up that way and you load them from the back side.
That's awesome.
You can shoot these guns really fast because you can make ammo like that and carry it with you. These are loaded muscle loaders. That ramrod right there, that's what you use to push the bullet home. And they shoot that kind of bullet.
Oh yeah, I know, that's okay, but we have to, everybody that's participating, and I'll go get it. Here tomorrow.
I should be wearing my jacket, but we just got off the skirmish line and so I hope you'll forgive the scandal of me appearing in mixed company with my braces.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So what's all this?
Well, this is the sort of gear that would appear in a soldier's haversack. We carried everything we used with us, so we have 3 days cooked rations when we started to march, as a matter of course, hardtack, hard-baked bread, just sugar, flour, and water, some sort of dried meat, like beef jerky, canned foods that was a relatively new invention. It was just started up in the 1850s, if I remember right. And so you were really seeing a change in technology. So we had canned condensed coffee, but we were also still doing it the old-fashioned way, coffee in the bean. This is roasted coffee, the real thing, and this is unroasted coffee.
Oh, what's the difference as far as taste?
This isn't ready to drink. You roast it, then you boil it.
Oh, okay. Okay. It looks kind of like peanuts.
And it does. Well, it's nut bean. And this is tea. You shave a bit off this cake into hot water, and instant tea. We had beans, rice, fatback. We relied very heavily on pork for our meat during the march. We got some beef too. When we were lucky, we would get other things. Chickens we were able to buy early on the march. Sometimes people would send canned smoked oysters from home for special occasions like Christmas.
Someone out of the regiment listening can be appointed
So,
as a hospital steward.
This is Civil War style ketchup.
Ooh, wow. Mushroom ketchup.
Yes.
I saw they sold that down in Williamsburg.
You got paid
I've never tried it though.
as if you
And
were sorry to be.
my haversack's right over there, so let me grab that and I can show you a few other things.
Oh, awesome.
Oh yeah. What? No, not no. Oh. Yeah. Where they're.
The haversack is tarred canvas. The Confederates would often have untarred canvas, so theirs would be more an off-white when they started, though the fat from the bacon and things they carried would often turn them translucent after a while. Inside our haversack, we would have our coffee cup, our silverware. This is hardtack. It's kind of a big cracker, and it was our bread. You baked it really hard, so it would last a long time. It wouldn't get moldy. It tastes nasty, and it could break your teeth sometimes, but it would still be good after a long march, which is the most important thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No refrigerators, and even if there were, we couldn't carry them with us.
Right.
Which one? This is a mortar and pestle. You use it to grind up things. So inside here, you can see coffee. We take these roasted coffee beans and put them in a pestle and grind it up so it would be ready to put in hot water and be our coffee.
Oh wow.
And so we'd all carry our own utensils. So you can see, just a knife, fork, and a spoon, metal or wooden handles,
Medicine and pharmacy advances.
Oh yeah.
and a very simple plate. And here's condensed coffee.
Brand new idea, but before the Civil War, you were cigarette.
And
There were hospitals.
like I said, we didn't have refrigerators, so everything we had to be able to stay edible on its own for days at a time.
Yeah, chill them out.
So that's why we relied on canned food and crackers and dry stuff.
This is when you were fighting in the army. Well, he was too busy swatting that.
You see a first lieutenant and a captain who's going to be an assistant surgeon, and you're going to see a major who's a surgeon. All of them are alleged four-year graduates from a medical school. There's kind of a standardization, state to state, but, not really. At the beginning of the Civil War, I mean, it would be impossible to say that some of these doctors were good. They weren't. A lot of them have never actually performed a surgery as the beginning of the war came out. Just like an infantry soldier has to prove his mettle, that's how good of a soldier he is. A surgeon has to kind of prove how good he is. I think a lot of people thought surgeons were just barbarians,
Right.
You just don't go in and saw bones off and start, cutting away with a scalpel. There was skill. I mean, you can find books saying this is the step-by-step procedure of how the standard of care is in performing an amputation. This is how you do an incision and drainage of a boil.
Right.
I mean, there were techniques on how to do that. On the Yankee side, an enlisted person can be taken out of the regiment and be appointed as a hospital steward. That was considered prestigious, because you were paid the rank of a sergeant major, which is up there. But you had to be literate, and you had to be of good moral character, because you're doing things like administering and controlling the medicinal whiskey and brandy. So, I mean, you're supposed to be a responsible person. The assistant surgeon at the battle could be closer to the battle. Now, he was technically unarmed. I'm sure somebody carried a pistol or something. And, he's a non-combatant, but you could be close enough where you could be in danger.
Right.
But the job they come to you, you're trying to either get them back to the battle line, or you're putting on an ambulance and you're getting them back to the hospital. So I'm trying, as an assistant surgeon, to get, smaller kits, together. That sort of thing. Like, that's a metacarpal saw, that's meant for finger and hand bones, that sort of thing. This is a reproduction of an assistant surgeon's pocket amputation kit. But a surgeon would have a thing called a capital kit, which is a pretty big box, and it would have other instruments that would be more like that size. And would have, kind of everything in there that he needs to do an operation. That's a stethoscope. These bottles would probably be period correct. I think it's kind of interesting here. Like this one talks about croup, but I think they had their skills down where they could, like, you know, the sound of the cough is distinct when you have croup versus, like, say you had pneumonia or something like that.
Right.
The medicine in there could have been oil, for all I know.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, I think they did a pretty good job of, you know, through just the you know, recognizing the symptoms, decide, you know, what the illness actually is.
Right.
The medicine inn wasn't very good. They had the theory that there would be a body system that was inflamed, and you had to purge the inflammation, you know, by making him puke or making him sweat or making him, you know, poo or something like that.
Right.
But some of the medicines was okay, like quinine treated the symptoms of yellow fever and malaria. Opium treated pain. I mean, it's kind of important at that time. Digoxin made the heart go stronger and help with patients who had symptoms of shock.
I've heard that sometimes they'd like drain the blood and stuff like that.
Bleeding was almost non-existent in the Civil War. It was done in the Revolutionary War.
Okay, so that was more of an earlier
When you
method.
Take the blood out, that you're getting rid of the illness.
Right.
They did use leeches in the Civil War, but let's say you got punched in the face and you had this great big hematoma. The leech could drain that blood out.
Oh, really?
And usually, if you see a Civil War clinic or a sick hall kind of an area, you'll see a big old jar marked leeches. Whose job it was to go out and get the leeches, I don't know. But I mean, you know.
Probably a private's job.
Yeah. You know, go wade in the water or something. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, man.